Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my precious pack, and welcome back once more to VEGA Conflict. Gonna do a quick run over of the minimum version push update so we can, take a look at most of the stuff as well as talk about some of the more controversial aspects of said update. First off, though, I'm going to start off with the sweet spot of the update, and now we can view it in the game. It is the Amarok, the Umbral Titan. And unlike with the Altarian that becomes a sitting stone that just gets punched to death, this one is built for aggression and it shows. Unlike the Ajax that tanks all the damage for its fleet and crumples up, the Amarok is an aggressive Titan. It is built to brawl and it sits in front of whatever it's supposed to be protecting. And as such, 650 forward speed, 550 strafe, 63 degrees per second rotation speed, 600 astronomical units per hour, basic Titan stuff. Well, 2,000 hit points right off the bat, an increase over the Ajax of 2,000 hit points. Modifiers, congest. Modifiers to congest. It is, by all intents and purposes, it's easier to just go like this. It's weapon disruption, no matter how you see it. It's the same thing we had on the Wraith, and it's back, except for now it stacks, so you're going to want multiple enemies in the fire arc. That won't be a problem, because the development team just kind of sprinkles all kinds of stuff into the fleets lately, so you'll have no issues finding an abundance of targets. Alright, ship out of the way, let's go ahead and let's take a look at the weapons. Cyclic Vulcan. Same damage as Threshdom, just kinetic damage. So this is the first kinetic weapon. Mass, weight, basically everything is the exact same as the others. Range 1,000 to 6,000. AoE radius 120 meters, so fairly small. Speed, well, that's mostly negligible because, most of the other weapons we have actually fly faster than that, or they have something else that makes them better. Have no idea exactly how it will function or behave, but it's restricted to Tier 8. That isn't what most people will be talking about, though. We're going to be getting the first set of armors for Tier 8. Starting with the Parasitic Armor 1 and 2 blueprints, and right off the bat I have to say they are healthy. The Parasitic Armor 1 has 8,610 hit points, and when you compare that to the Thonian Armor, weight-wise and everything, it is just a vastly better option. Almost 2,100 tons. Again, difference is you got about 1,500 additional hit points on top of it. So you've got something good going for you, and that's only level 1. Level 2, it gets even better. Because naturally, you bump it up by 750 tons, you're going to be getting an additional 2,800-ish. No, 2,600-ish health. So, a pretty decent amount of health for the single point. And because I don't have the level 3 stats or anything in front of me, most of you have already figured out by now that the level 3 will be the Parasitic Armor, and it will be resistant to kinetic, explosive, and energy weapons. It'll have a 50% resistance, I believe, is what it's supposed to be, and it will be reusable item, farmable, so it's going to be another grind target. No one likes hearing that word, but that's exactly what the development team keeps doing. So, another grind target there. That's all of that stuff covered. New tech completely covered, and now let's talk about the controversial aspect. So, remote repair. For better or for worse, it is here. However, there was a micro update at about 2 a.m.-ish, 2:30-ish, sometime in the early morning. I'm dead tired, I'm not going to try and figure it all out, but it happened this morning, and what the micro update did was it removed the minimum value repair. Because when remote repair launched and we gained access to it right out of the gate, well, after the minimum version push, we were actually able to repair in sector. So, you launched a fleet out, you take damage, instead of coming back for the base, you could repair out there. However, it was a minimum 5 coin value that you would always have to pay for to repair. Well, that was completely dropped, and now it's free. So if you take under the free repair time value for the fleet, then you're going to have free repair time, 1 coin, 2 coin, 3 coin, basically the same thing you have to begin with. Now, for those perfectionists that like to take absolutely no repair time or low repair time, well, you can basically keep yourself topped off when you're out in space. Now, at the moment, because I'm like dead tired, I haven't been paying enough attention to my resources to make use of the system and to see if it actually takes resources for the free repair. As far as I'm aware, it actually doesn't when you're out in the sector. It's just quick minor repairs. So, thankfully, they at least changed it so that the free value is actually free. So, to the development team for changing that so hastily, good on you. The fact that it launched as it did, well, you at least got it correct quickly enough that it didn't become an issue. And I mean, with the launch of so many things as of recently that haven't been very entertaining for the player base, well, you got this one right. But I mean, it's still a remote pair feature that is primarily made for coiners. So we'll see how this one plays out in the long run. For everything else, well, Decimation is drawing to a close, and we're going to do a quick once-over of the prize list. Oh, yes. First right off the bat, I recommend picking up Tatiana Demina because no matter how you see her, she's going to be a very, very great use for your Altarian fleets. Increased shield value stacked. Increased DPS, increased health damage, I mean, that's just outstanding. And if you use 1 carrier, 2 cruisers, you get 10% blight resistance. And that's not even restricted, so you could get it on Pharmacon ships, you could get it on Altarian ships, you could get it on just about anything you want. So you're just lucky with that one. So make sure you pick her up. Chrome skins. Those are entirely dependent on whether you want the skins for the ships or not. I have a few of them, and lately I've been building my Imperial fleet up. I'm slowly building Star Wars references in VEGA. And the skins, I mean, they don't add anything to the combat. They're not really anything to just... They're meant to just have for fun, to look at and to admire, things like that. Flexwing. Skip it. Manticore Battlecruiser. I can recommend picking it up as well as the items that come with it because you can use it to upgrade itself in its sector, which can in turn play into the tutorials for getting the Dreadnought, the Behemoth. Almost had a brain fart there. I also wanted to yawn. Javelin Flagship. I can recommend picking it up, and now that the limits have been removed for how many flagships we can launch, you can launch all the jump ships you want. You can launch all 7 fleets of them. You can literally just have 7 javelins floating around. You could have 7 Marauder, I can't even remember the name of them now. I have like 8 of them or 9 of them. But whatever the Marauder carrier is, it's a cloned copy of the mothership. Wormhole Jump Drive. I can recommend picking it up, especially if you get yourself a harvester or something that it can be equipped to, because despite the repair value difference, the jumping, stuff like that, until you can get elite fleets, it'll help you. Wormhole Drive, I can recommend picking it up because, I mean, it's the basic drive that I've always loved. I mean, the fact that you can use it on the Harvester as well as on your other ships, it makes it extremely trolly at times that you can just jump around with it, but the repair time of 10 hours, I mean, I was never a fan of that, so if you do pick it up, use it on a Javelin naturally, because, again, I'm not recommending using it on a Harvester because the repair time, and I like playing around with my Harvester. Crafting boxes, depending on exactly what faction you're playing into and working for. Erico, right off the bat, I can recommend picking it up. It's worth it. Zeus, I can recommend picking it up. It's worth it. Havoc Cannon creds, all the creds, pick them up because you can use them later to help you reduce the refit times for whatever you're trying to build. Using those else 1 through 3, pick them all up. You're going to be wanting to use all of them at some point or another, or you're going to want to use one of the level 3 and mix it into the combat potential of your Orator. Blight Mirrors 1 through 3, I can recommend picking up all of them because they're mirrors. You strap them onto an arrow coat, they go out, they explode, and the arrow coat's damage begins to ramp up just because its little tiny child died, rolled out and just exploded. Nighthawk drones, I can recommend picking up 4 of the level 2 because you're going to be using... I can recommend picking up 2 of the level 2 because you're going to be using them on the Behemoth with the builds I recommend. Just a little bit of extra damage. Binary Torpedo, individual blueprint pieces. Okay, this is where it becomes a little bit more... Is it worth it, is it not? If I'm not mistaken, you can currently, at the moment, farm for the binary torpedoes in there. Yeah, right here. You can farm them right here. That's literally around the clock. You don't have to wait for those. You can go out and you can go into the Pharmacon sector. You can just step in and just start farming them. So, they're not needed. You don't have to go after these ones, the plasma screens. You don't have to go after most of this stuff because you can actually farm for it in here. You just have to find the correct type. And these ones, this is how you also get certain elements. You can actually farm them here. Because as you attack the fleets, they'll drop them for you. And what are those used for? Well, as you farm node armor and stuff like that, you'll be able to turn node armor 3 into specialized node armor. And as with each of them, you're going to get a different screen. With the Omega, you get the Blight screen. You get Deflector with the Inhibitor, because they didn't have a Destroyer. You get Explosive with the Complete Brain Fart there, the Battleship, the Daemon. And then with the Carrier, you get the Plasma screen. So you can get them all from there. Face Charge Relay and Drain Relay. I didn't see the other ones unless I'm blind as a bat, which, I mean, they're not blind, but I'm pretty sure they've got better eyesight in that way. You got multiple places where you can get the node armor from. That's interesting. It drops from each of the armored targets. Interesting. I didn't even realize that. But most of the stuff that you can get that you can farm through there, you don't need to buy it through the store because, I mean, you can farm for it. This you can't farm for. Pick it up. This you can't farm for. Pick it up. This you can't farm for, don't pick it up. This you can't farm for, pick it up. This you can't farm for, pick it up. This you can't farm for, pick it up. Base Disruptors. Blight, Explosive are going to be the primary 2 that I recommend you pick up. Plasma, if you're being hammered by Pharmacon, but I mean, they're not really much of a threat because, I mean, the phase pools, as they currently are, they're more of a irritant to their own faction. Alien Dissipator I can recommend because as Altarians, well, they're going to be using alien weapons. If you're being hit by kinetic weapons more often, Kinetic Disruptor, Energy Disruptor, just match the damage types. Wings, what can I recommend? Well, this is where it gets a little bit interesting because I actually used level 3 of the Nightingale and the Nighthawk that I farmed from the outposts a while back. Because the level 1, level 2, their health value, their speed, everything like that, it's mediocre in comparison to the carrier counter, the standard squadron. And I don't recommend any of the turrets because that's underpowered, all of these are underpowered. And then, just like with the other stuff, if you have extra credits and stuff like that, go after the gold prize boxes, silver prize boxes, elements and stuff like that if you have additional intel and stuff that you can purchase with it. If not, don't waste it, because the credit items you can get from the boxes, they can help you a lot more than you may think. First off, beam capacitors, they can be equipped on all higher tier ships. You can equip them on Xeno and above, right up to tier 8. So even as you're fitting specials and stuff like that on your ships, you can use the beam capacitor 3 credits to help reduce some of the refit times. And from the gold prize boxes, you can get the harmonic chase thrusters, which you can use in turn on just about any of your tier 8 stuff again. because it is not limited to tier 7. You can use it on some of the tier 8 stuff, such as... should be an operator. Yes, you can use it on an operator and stuff like that. You can use it on any of the ships, just like Xeno Armored Thruster. And that's it. That's all I wanted to cover. I just wore my brain out more than I wanted to. But that's it, everybody. I hope for those of you that needed any guidance or anything in the Decimation prize store that helps. For the rest of you, I hope that those of you that haven't had a chance to get into the game lately or you've been trying to keep up, I hope that this shows you where the game's at currently, what it's doing, and stuff like that. But that's going to be it. I'm going to end the video here before I fall asleep and smack my head on something in the room. Because that's the last thing I want. But be safe out there in the void. Happy hunting. Hopefully you can get everything you want. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.